What's going on, guys? This is Bobby Douglas. Welcome to another 2021 NBA Draft Prospect full game video breakdown. Today we're going to be taking a look at Virginia wing Trey Murphy, who spent the last 2 years at Rice and then transferred into Virginia. Started right away for them, averaged around 11 points on a 50-40-90 season, so he shot 50.3% from the floor, 43.3% from three, and then 92.7% from the free throw line. Really impressive numbers right there. And again, this guy is basically a 3-and-D forward type, a little bit bigger than your average wing, but that's probably to his benefit. Again, 6'9", 206, but just can shoot the lights out of the ball, and just a very, very solid late first round type of pick in my view. So yeah, I'm excited to watch him play today. He's going to be number 25 in the blue, so he's going to be right here. And yeah, let's get right into it. I don't know what this graphic was to start, but whatever. So yeah, Virginia's actually going to kind of get killed in this game, just FYI. But you can see Trey Murphy right now on the ball. And again, he's a very, very just sound and disciplined on-ball defender. He's not as much of a disruptor as he is just like a stalwart, right? You're not going to get him, leaping or biting on pump fakes. He'll box out, as we saw right there. Just very, very solid overall defender. He's not going to hurt you on that end in any way. And so, just one of those guys that'll just provide very, very just fundamentally sound, reliable defense. And then obviously with his shooting, he had 3 years in college. 2 out of those 3 years were over 40% from the three-point line. So this guy can really shoot it. And that's something that he'll add instantly in terms of value to an NBA team. And again, a lot of these contending teams will most likely really want Trey Murphy, just because you could never have enough, 6'6" to 6'10" guys who can defend pretty much 1 through 4 and shoot, right? And so Trey Murphy kind of fits that bill. Wouldn't be surprised to see him kind of rise up into those late teens. Personally, I'm a little bit lower on him than that, but I could see him rising just because of the profile. You're going to see him right there off the catch, knock down this three. Again, 1 pass away in the corner. Smooth, easy release. Nothing really concerning about it. Obviously, when you shoot close to 44% from three, I'm not going to really criticize anything. Right now, he was shooting 49% at this point in the season. So, obviously nothing there. And again, just a guy who can catch and shoot, be one of those guys that, makes defenses pay for committing to a primary playmaker, right? And so, yeah, that's basically Trey Murphy's game offensively. I struggle to see him doing anything in a more, ball-dominant role, just because I don't think his handle is as developed as we'll see later in this game. But, right now, just kind of a guy who can reliably hit, catch, and shoot threes, and then defend pretty much 1 through 4 on the other end. That's kind of what Trey Murphy is all about. This Virginia team, too, was very interesting. They weren't, I don't want to say they were bad, as we see Trey Murphy on the ball right there. And again, just this, I think this is Malik Osborne. He's not really a threat to attack closeouts per se, but just watch how disciplined Trey Murphy is. He's really balanced, right? His feet are parallel, right? And so you can't really get around him. And so that's something that I think is really, really impressive, and something that he'll be very hard to take advantage of in the NBA because of that discipline defensively. But I'm going back to this Virginia team. Obviously, just whenever you get a Virginia team I don't want to say like this, but whenever you get a Tony Bennett Virginia team, obviously there's going to be okay, these guys play very slow. The defense is going to be good. This year, the defense was not as good as it has been in the past. As the season went on, it got a little bit better. You can see right here, Trey Murphy on that backdoor cut. And again, he's a pretty good vertical athlete. He can rise and finish above guys. And he's also a pretty good cutter as well, as you saw right there, even though the play didn't count. But, they play super slow, all that stuff with Virginia, right? And this team just never really seemed to click. They were a top 5 team preseason in college basketball polls, and they just were never really able to rise to that level. They lost early to San Francisco. Obviously they ended their season losing to Ohio in the first round of the NCAA tournament as a 5 seed. And so, I just think Virginia, as mean as it sounds, I just don't really think they had the talent that they had in the past. Gone are the days of the Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hunter, Kyle Guy era, and so Now you're just kind of trying to try and see if you could elevate some of these guys, like Sam Hauser, very good player. Trey Murphy, obviously very good player. Jay Huff, very good player. Kihei Clark had his moments as well. So, I mean, there are a lot of good players, just none of those guys that really could really break the mold for Virginia this year, and that's ultimately what led to their demise, I think. Not to mention, they had COVID issues, leading into the tournament as well. I think they were one of the teams that had to, get removed from the ACC tournament. Back to Trey Murphy, though. Again, you can see him just moving his feet well, and again, he knows very well. He knows what to do with his hands, right? He's not a guy that'll be reaching a ton. Again, just very disciplined, very fundamentally sound. Almost too fundamentally sound right there. He gets a little bit lost on that back cut, but almost too fundamentally sound, and I'll get to that in a little bit when there's an example of it. But it's actually kind of an interesting little dynamic that he has. But again, overall, I think on the ball, he's much better as a defender than off the ball. Off the ball, he isn't bad. It's just more of the people who he guards, I think, might be concerning in the NBA. But, we'll see where that goes as his career unfolds. You can see Jay Huff right there posting up. Florida State is just so long, as always, right? And so it became, and we got an alley-oop right there. Scotty Barnes to Malik Osborne. Malik Osborne also went to Rice. By the way, there is something in that water in Houston, Texas with Rice basketball. They just pump out high major transfers that are impactful at their next destination. You look at Trey Murphy came from Rice. Malik Osborne started for Florida State right now, guarding Jay Huff. Drew Peterson at USC. Rice is... how are they not better? They had so many good players go through that program in the last few years. So just shout out to Rice. Actually, I got to visit Rice when I was a freshman in high school. Very nice campus. Probably one of the nicest I've seen. So, regardless though, but Rice is just, I don't know, they're like a prep school or something. I don't know. But regardless, right there, Florida State misses that shot, and now we got Virginia probably going to take the entire 30 seconds if I had to guess. And you can see they kind of use Trey Murphy in a lot of different roles. They'll put him on the wing. They'll put him as a screener along the baseline, things like that. I think he does have that kind of stretch four type of build and potential, I would say. I don't really know if he's probably stretch four or a big three. He'd probably play either. And so, yeah, that's kind of where he's at, I would say, positionally. But obviously, he could play either wing spot without much difficulty. Basketball Reference actually lists him as a guard, which I think is kind of funny, considering he's 6'9", right? Just kind of shows you that versatility that he does offer, and that's a key thing too, right? We talk about it, especially with these later first-round guys. The more ways you can succeed in the NBA, the better, right? So, it's kind of not putting your eggs in one basket. We'll see Trey Murphy launch from NBA range. Can't get that one to go. But again, he's very comfortable shooting from very deep, as we see right here. Off of that pass, this is an NBA three-pointer. Again, the form holds up well, right? Good follow-through, good wrist flick. So, not really worried about the NBA range contributing. I don't think anybody, or the NBA range translating. I think that's already there for him, so that's good. So he could be an impact shooter, in the NBA from year one, which I think is very, very, important for him. And we got a turnover for Florida State, I think. Oh, no, never mind. But what was I saying? Yeah, so basically with Trey Murphy, right? In these late first round, second round types of guys, if you have all your eggs in one basket, right? Let's say your only reason for getting drafted is being a shooter. And all of a sudden, maybe you don't shoot well in the workout, or, maybe there's something wrong with your form. Then it all of a sudden becomes a lot more difficult for you to stick in the NBA as a shooter. And so with Trey Murphy, because he can do so many things well, he can shoot well, right? He can defend very well because of his size too, right? Because he has all that going for him, I see a lot easier of a path for him in the NBA compared to some of these other guys. And so the more things you can do, I know it sounds overly simple, but it's something that we don't really seem to talk about a whole lot. It's just the more things you can do, the more likely you have the more likely of a chance you had to stick in the NBA, right? And so right here, Trey Murphy, again, another example of this back cut, and then it looks like he's going to get a dunk, but then this Ngom guy for Florida State, he's like 7'3", is just going to swat that shit away. That's just incredible. I mean, good effort from Trey Murphy, but that's just, you're not going to win that battle. But again, he does have, like, surprisingly good vertical athleticism. When I was watching his film, like, I was kind of, like, not blown away, but just kind of encouraged, like, he got up right there, and again, he has that length in his arms, so he's able to kind of finish above length, which I think is something that's pretty important for him moving forward. Not really a guy that I anticipate taking a lot of shots at the rim, just because I think he's a lot more valuable at the three-point line, but, I do think there is, like, something to be said about kind of like that. He's kind of like 3-and-D plus, like, minus a half of that plus, right? He's like 3-and-D vertical line, I would say, right? That's kind of where Trey Murphy kind of lies for me right now. So it'll just be interesting to see what happens. Again, good job by Murphy right there. This is another thing that's underrated about his game. Maybe this is just like the Virginia basketball kind of coming out of him, but he's not a ball stopper, and so we see how important it is in the NBA, right, to not be the guy that ruins the offensive flow on a certain possession, right? And so Trey Murphy is very good at not having the ball stick in his hands, right? Immediately, he knows where the ball's going, one pass away, find the open shooter, open three, right? Not a guy who got a ton of assists. He averaged only around like 1.2 a game, so not a lot, but he isn't like a bad passer or a selfish player, right? And so right there, good defense getting over that screen. Right, we can see it again right here. This is Sardar Calhoun, one of the better athletes, right? And Trey Murphy's moving his feet well. Again, not biting on that pump fake. Very hard to get up in the air without taking that shot. You can see right there, Calhoun has nowhere to go with it, has to kick it out. Right there, kind of a defensive breakdown for Virginia, but overall, Trey Murphy's doing his job defensively so far. And we can see him get the ball. I think this is going to be a pick and roll possession for him, if I'm not mistaken. This is something that he's not going to be doing a lot of in the NBA, but, it's a pretty good take regardless. Oh, never mind. This isn't the one. I think it happens later in the first half. Excuse me. But again, you can do a lot of different things with him. Like, I'm not saying you could put him as like a roller in a pick and roll or a popper, Like, I don't think he's that versatile in terms of just like his overall skill set. But, I do think you could have him run Spain. I know we talked about Spain in the last video, or maybe 2 videos ago, or last video maybe, with Jalen Green or Kai Jones. Let's see what we got here. I think he's out actually for a little bit. Yeah. I just want to make sure. Yeah, he's out right here, so I'll skip ahead. But you could have him be that guy who sets the screen on the rollers man, right, and have him pop out for a 3. That's the type of thing he could do. So you could put him in ball screen actions, not necessarily as a screener or a handler, but just kind of make him that tertiary guy, which honestly, they get a lot of shots out of pick and roll. So definitely not an unimportant position by any stretch. I'll skip ahead right here. Trey Murphy, 14-19 I have on here. So we'll skip ahead right here. Yep, and here we go. 9:25 left in the first half. And again, this game gets out of hand for Virginia. They go on a run in the second half, but for the most part, this is a pretty easy win for Florida State. Right here, Trey Murphy kind of showing that versatility, right? He's 6'9", giving up probably like 40, 50 pounds on Raekwon Gray, right? But he's able to just kind of battle, move his feet. Very underrated leg strength, I think. And right there, you could see him get that contest, ultimately forcing the miss. I think there's a foul on Virginia. But again, you could kind of have him guard 1 through 4. He could probably guard in the post a little bit. And again, on the ball especially, he's just like a very, very stout defender. No concerns with him on the ball. Off the ball, and again, he's not bad off the ball, but it's just like there's a few flaws that I think he needs to kind of iron out. But defensively, though, like I'm much more encouraged than I am discouraged, if that makes sense. And so we got Murphy's going to be guarding, looks like Malik Osborne. I don't know if they're former teammates, but same program. They both played at Rice, as I mentioned earlier. Murphy's going to be running the weak side, and Kihei Clark's going to throw up some junk, and here comes Florida State again. Kihei Clark, when I was watching this game, it was kind of just noticeable again right here. Trey Murphy taking the ball, and again, like the pump fake, doesn't bite on the ball fake, right? Just kind of staying in front, not really allowing any sort of penetration. Just little things like that obviously make a huge difference. But Kihei Clark, though, it was just kind of funny. I have never seen a turnaround half to half than what Kihei Clark did in this game. This first half, he didn't even look like he belonged on the floor. Second half, though, like he goes on like his own run and everything. It's very funny. I don't know. That's just something I noticed when I was watching this game before doing the video on it. Let's see what we got here. Trey Murphy's going to set that baseline screen. We've seen that a little bit. Now he's going to be in the post. Again, this isn't really his game. Much more comfortable in that short corner role if you're going to put him inside the three-point line, I would say. But obviously, you want him out there. You want him outside the three-point line as much as possible, given the fact that he was one of the better shooters in the country this year. We got MJ Walker for three. He's going to bury that. Again, Florida State was unconscious from this game. Very, very, very good three-point shooting team in this game. Obviously, they got a reputation, I think, partially because of this game for being a good three-point shooting team. But the problem is it didn't really matter because they kept turning the ball over every possession in the postseason. So, it didn't matter because they could never get shots up because they kept turning the ball over, which was very frustrating for me to watch because I am a very big Florida State truther. I love that program. They just could not get anything going offensively late in the season. They kept turning the ball over, a lot of stupid fouls. Some of the shots didn't hit. Every single game it felt like was so close. It was just so irritating. But, Sweet 16 run for them, not bad, obviously. As a 4 seed, that's kind of where you expect it to go. So, not bad. Let's see what we got. Trey Murphy inbounding the ball, and here comes Virginia down by 19, under 7 to play. Again, here's Kihei Clark. Can't get anything going. Good pass to Jay Huff, but again, not much going on for Virginia right now. Very, very stagnant in their offense. That's the shot you want. Yep, a turnaround to mid-range jumper. Good job, Virginia. Oh, that should have been wow. Okay. So Trey Murphy has to take that low man on the cut because Kihei Clark got eviscerated by a screen. Good possession defensively for Virginia in suboptimal circumstances, but then they give the ball right back. Trey Murphy still not in frame, and here he is. Okay, again, so he's on Scotty Barnes, and, MJ Walker's going to make it rain again. Woof. This game, I think I watched this game live, and I was kind of thinking, Florida State can win it all. I was so in on them after this game. And they had the worst, turnover percentage, I think, ever, right? I don't know. But whatever. Win some, lose some. So we got Trey Murphy on Raekwon Gray on Trey Murphy. Let's see what happens here. Again, Virginia uses him a lot kind of in that dunker spot or in the post when they go two bigs. But obviously in the NBA, I think he's much more suited for a perimeter-oriented role. And, given that shooting ability, that's something that's going to, obviously carry over to the NBA. He's much more a plug-and-play type of guy. So, right here, Trey Murphy needs to rotate, right? And so he's usually pretty smart off the ball. Right here, though, you can kind of see him get a little bit lost. So, right here, you could see, okay, so Osborne's going to be wide open. Murphy needs to be covering this pass. And then, Will Tensei needs to be up or Kihei needs to be up, right? Just a missed rotation kind of, right? It's going to lead to a wide open three. Jay Huff can't get back. Bottoms, right? And so that's on Trey Murphy for not really sliding over. Also, I'm not really sure why they're doubling the post there, but alas, Trey Murphy needs to be that one pass away, stopper to prevent that open three for Malik Osborne. But again, for the most part, he's pretty good off the ball in terms of awareness. Let's see what he does here. Again, just coming off that screen. Again, this is a type of action where just a simple lift up, not even a screen. But these are types of things that he'll, get in the NBA a lot, off of slight movement or just catch and shoot, right? Needs to be able to finish these. I have no doubt that he will. Just that one didn't go in. In this game, by the way, I think he had 13 points on 3 of 7 from 3. So we will shoot. We will see some of these. And so right here, just, not really the type of guy who could put it on the floor and make something happen for himself. He needs someone else to kind of create open looks for him. And you can see he just dribbles into traffic. The handle isn't great. But you can see there's kind of potential for it to be better. Because he is pretty fluid at 6'9". But, it's just kind of not really there yet. And so, it depends how you view Trey Murphy. But then he could do dunks like that, which are just ridiculous, right? And so, you can tell there's I feel like there's a little bit to be unlocked with Trey Murphy because that's a ridiculous dunk. in transition. Again, if he gets ahead of steam like that, we saw him throw down that dunk off of a dead ball, right? But it didn't count. That one counts, and very, very high level athletic finish for him. So again, there maybe is something to be unlocked with Trey Murphy, but right now I'd probably think most teams are betting on it as like a betting on Trey Murphy is kind of like more of a plug and play type of guy rather than a guy that you want to really invest a whole lot of time developing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think a lot of NBA teams are really looking at him for upside as they are more so for just like overall just ability to just come in, play right away, for a high-level playoff team, things like that. So that's kind of just like, it depends on how you view Trey Murphy, I would say. You can see right here him guarding Raekwon Gray. Again, right there, Gray just kind of bullies him. Not much Trey Murphy could do on that one. And we'll see what we got here. Murphy's going to be in that left corner. And Kihei Clark, again, he just can't get anything up right now due to that size deficiency. When you have Scotty Barnes kind of just going at your face, it's kind of difficult. We got a foul. Looks like it's going to be a block on Virginia, I want to say. Maybe a charge. No? Okay. And Murphy, I believe, is out right here for a little bit, so I'll skip ahead. 26-56. And here we go. So I think he's in for the final 2:10. So we'll just watch this first half play out. Again, Florida State's killing them right now. But you can see, like, there is some, like, level of fluidity with the ball in his hands. It's just when he gets into traffic, right, it becomes a lot more shaky. And there's a pick and roll play I was talking about, right? Just kind of like this floater type of, he kind of just throws up at the rim from, like, 14 feet, right? But again, able to manipulate that ball screen pretty well. Again, use that size, kind of create space for himself a little bit, right? But that's a pretty high-level play. I don't really think that's something that he'll be doing a whole lot of in the NBA. But again, it's nice to see him kind of have that in his arsenal. Right here, though, okay, so this is what I mean with Trey Murphy almost being like too fundamentally sound defensively, right? He's so reluctant to kind of come out of his defensive stance that it really hinders his overall mobility, right? It's not that he's not quick. It's just that he's so locked in, like, into his stance, right, that it makes him, less quick to react, right? So right here, okay. So again, right now he's a little bit falling asleep. Jay Huff is going to inexplicably dive down, right? And so he's going to be drawn in. So Trey Murphy needs to be on this guy right here, right? And so again, you can see him kind of in his stance, right? This needs to be a full-out sprint because he has kind of like the change of direction and, right, the ability to stop on a dime to really just kind of contest this look from Raekwon Gray. But because he's like sliding over, right, it becomes so much easier for Gray to kick it to Wyatt Wilkes. Wyatt Wilkes open three. You know what I mean? If Trey Murphy could kind of close out, take a better angle to the ball, right, and just kind of sprint, maybe cut off that pass back to Wyatt Wilkes for three, that's something that I think would have really impacted that possession and maybe led to a miss. But because he's so almost focused on staying in defensive stances, right, it becomes almost to his disadvantage, He's too disciplined defensively. So it's just something interesting. And we'll see more of that in the second half especially, too. Just like, for some reason, like, he has this penchant for taking a very indirect path to where he needs to be. Like, when he's going around screens, like, he'll take a very weird angle or something like that, and it kind of just overall hinders his ability to be, like, a, fluid, like, as fluid as possible defensively. We could see Florida State almost gets that one to go. Looks like we're going to get good hustle play, and this should be out of bounds, yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's just like an interesting dynamic with Trey Murphy because like there is an element of him that kind of needs to be unlocked, I think, in a sense where it's like how to move better in a sense, right? Because he is pretty fluid, he can move pretty well laterally, but there's so much room for improvement in that area, and I think it's more technique than it is natural ability. So it's just interesting to see how a team kind of views Trey Murphy. Do they view him more of like a guy who can come in, play right away, or is he a guy that they want to take a few years or a year to kind of like develop, right, and get him, to where he can reach his ceiling. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Right here, again, kind of gets caught in the air. And again, not really the playmaker or the passer. You can see him attack this closeout, right? And again, just gets caught in the air. This is going to be a deflection, I think. And again, just pretty errant pass. I think it's, Virginia ball still. But again, not a guy that's going to be like, throwing all these like Magic Johnson type passes. He's much more suited for like a, keep the ball moving type of passer. Finding guys open one pass away. He's very good at that. Not really a good guy to create passing angles on his own, but just more of a guy who's not going to be a ball stopper. You guys know what I mean. We'll see what we got here. Raekwon Evans, not going to hit that one. Trey Murphy's going to get that rebound and launch. Not going to go in, obviously. But underrated rebounder, too. He does use that length, pretty well, especially when he's guarding somebody on the block. A lot of times, though, with Virginia, he's guarding guys out on the perimeter. So those rebounding numbers won't be as high as they maybe could be. I think he only averaged, 3.5 rebounds a game. But I think he's a better rebounder than that suggests. So just keep that in mind as we head to the second half video. Overall, though, thanks, guys, so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Also, thanks for 400 subscribers. That's awesome. Thank you guys for the continued support. And, we will see you soon for part 2. Enjoy Game 1 of the NBA Finals. And, thanks so much. Bye.